lived through so much together here every night. There have been so many moments over the past year that have moved us, the heroes on the front lines. Look at this. We remember the husband and wife nurses, Ben and Mindy Kayer, taking a moment together before they started their shift in Tampa. Dr. Paul Saunders, who got COVID himself and then returned to the front lines at Maimonides Medical Center in Brooklyn. You can see they were applauding him when he came back. We'll never forget that. And the U.S. Navy ship Comfort coming to New York City. For so long, this city was the epicenter, sailing right past the Statue of Liberty. 1 year later, the numbers tonight, 64,005,000 Americans with at least one dose of a vaccine, a quarter of all adults tonight. Today, President Biden signing into law his historic $1.9 trillion COVID relief bill, economic help for struggling families arriving for some as early as this weekend. We will carefully get to it all tonight, beginning with ABC's Whit Johnson in New York.
Tonight, ABC News has learned President Joe Biden is expected to direct states to make all American adults eligible for a vaccine by no later than May 1st. The president expected to tell Americans if everyone does their part to slow the spread and get vaccinated, there is a chance that families, friends, and neighbors can gather in small groups by July 4th. Exactly 1 year ago, the announcement of a global pandemic. This is what Dr. Anthony Fauci told Congress and the American people that day.
So I can say we will see more cases and things will get worse than they are right now. Bottom line, it's going to get worse.
Worse than most could imagine. More than 530,000 American lives lost to COVID-19. But now, signs of hope on the horizon.
We are a year into this pandemic, and if you had asked anybody a year ago, they would have never said that we would have three highly efficacious vaccines in a year's time.
A decline in the number of COVID cases, deaths, and hospitalizations recently appeared to stall, but tonight the number's falling again. More than 10% of the country is fully vaccinated. The Biden administration promising enough doses for all American adults by the end of May. And the president announcing another 100 million doses of the Johnson & Johnson vaccine, giving the country a massive surplus, preparing for the next chapter. And tonight, on the 1 year mark, a new PSA from 4 former presidents and first ladies urging Americans to get vaccinated.
It's important for our fellow citizens to get vaccinated.
We've lost enough people, and we've suffered enough damage.
It will protect you and those you love from this dangerous and deadly disease.
You'll remember the images that went on for months. An entire city applauding frontline workers every night at 7 o'clock. The kind of appreciation seen across this country. New York City, the original epicenter in the U.S., a year later with the highest case average per capita this week, higher than any other place in the country. Troubling variants making up 51% of those new cases.
What we are seeing is variants that are more infectious and therefore spread the disease more. And that's a real issue.
And now, a new study adds to growing evidence the UK variant could also be deadlier. Still, 20 states moving to lift restrictions in the last 2 weeks. Oklahoma today, the latest to drop its remaining mask requirement. Texas, after lifting its statewide mask mandate, suing the city of Austin for keeping the mask rule in place. But health officials urging restraint.
A gradual pulling back, as opposed to it just turning a light switch on and off. We've got to gradually and prudently pull back as we get closer and closer to normal.
After a year that has seen so much loss, tireless healthcare workers celebrating every victory.
We cry with our patients and their loved ones, and we also cheered and rejoiced with those who triumphed. And here we are, 1 year later. The hope is real, but we still have a long ways to go.
A long way to go, but as she said, the hope is